so we'll start with Hassan Waqar from Ummah Finance, and let's see what he has to present.
Thank you very much, guys. So Ummah Finance, basically what we're trying to do is we are launching the first UK's digital Islamic bank, solely focusing on. So we're solely focusing on the retail customers, offering sort of current accounts, savings accounts, and then we want to move into sort of the lending products, mortgages, and stuff around that. So on a high level, we're talking about sort of the new banking marketplace model. So as you know, sort of PSD2 is kicking in, which I'll sort of explain after. So it has kicked in. Open banking is something that we're talking about a lot in the European markets right now. And one of the things that we're looking at is sort of adding an API layer to a core banking system, whereby we can sort of plug in third-party institutions and sort of offer products and services which sort of drive revenue, drive sort of the customer engagement. So digital transformation in banking. So a very quick quote. So digital transformation is like drying your body after a shower. You have to start from the top, otherwise the water will seep down and the screws of your organization will rust up. So in a nutshell, it's basically, digital transformation should not start from the bottom, it should start from the top and sort of flow down. So some of the opportunities we'll discuss, the better availability to meet customer expectations, increased cross-collaboration between the departments within an organization, greater agility within the IT to meet the business needs, improved competitive position within the market, higher level of innovation across the whole business, and increasing in the speed of work. And finally, we will reduce the costs involved within the banking sector. Now, the challenges that the current banks are facing, and we're not talking about the sort of the challenger banks, we're talking about sort of the big banks. Changing company culture. They have a typical mindset of sort of not willing to adapt or not willing to innovate. Thinking beyond a campaign mentality and a digital strategy effort. Cooperation between the departments. So they will have an innovation department which does not work with, say, for example, their marketing function or their R&D department. Resource, so finance, HR, technology, and skills is a big issue within the conventional banks and also the Islamic banks available in the UK. And finally, understanding the behavior and connected customers. So how do you actually become digital then? So focus on the customer journey, and this is one thing that we're really passionate about in an organization. So what we're looking at is sort of making sure that the customer has a seamless experience when opening up an account, when actually doing transactions through the banking platform that we're looking to provide. Build cross-functional digital teams. So one thing that within our organization is we're heavily focused on innovation, and it runs across the whole team rather than sort of a specific function or a specific area in the business. Embrace open innovation ecosystems. Recognize the changing role that branches play in the digital world, and create innovation teams from branch to board level. So a use case within the open banking sector, right, is a payment. So it's a payment initiation. So in an ideal scenario, the customer creates a PSP request. So that can be through a third party. That request is then executed, and that request then goes to the bank, which the bank then seeks authorization from you as an end customer. Do you actually want to approve this transaction or not? So it's an example of what open banking is and what open banking is actually doing within the sort of the banking landscape. So now explaining what actually open banking is, right? So current system is the banks are sitting on so much data, but they're not actually doing anything with it, and the banks don't know you. But with the open banking, the banks now have to release their APIs for fintechs to sort of connect with each other and actually use that data to drive revenue, to drive sort of customer engagement, and actually improve the customer experience within the banking. So a little bit about what we're doing. So the problem we've identified within the Islamic community is sort of the accessibility to Sharia compliant products. You've got the big retail banks, however, the convenience and sort of the way that they operate, it's not targeting the millennial market. The trust in the banking sector and efficiency in technology and processes. So what's the solution behind it? So we're creating the first UK-based digital bank that will be 100% Sharia compliant. So the market size in the UK, over 3 million Muslims in the UK, and that's doubled in the last 10 years. 19 billion worth of Islamic finance assets in the UK, The global market value is predicted to be 3 trillion by 2018. Younger demographics, so 1 in 3 Muslims are actually under 15 years old. And by 2020, customers manage their accounts via mobile 2.3 billion times. So the roadmap, so our phase 1 is launching halal prepaid cards, access to third-party products, so that is cross-border payments, international transfers, investments, loans, mortgages. Phase 2 is sort of the unique halal spending score. So in that halal spending score, we bring all your assets together, all your income together, and give you a score on sort of how ethical that it is. Internal current accounts and saving products again. Online sign-up. We'll then apply for the restricted banking license, which will allow us to do certain banking activities. And then phase 3 is linking to other bank accounts, so putting in sort of your HSBCs, your Barclays, and putting it into one platform. Auto zakat calculations, home financing, and then that will lead to the full banking license. So we can talk about this in a separate conversation. So it's just basically explaining what we're looking to do. So white labeled apps, individual account number, sort code, transfers, P2P payments, virtual cards. So phase 2 is sort of the unique halal spending score. So that's basically based on your consumer spending habits, what exactly you're spending on and how ethical your expenditure is. International money transfers through a third party, that's through partners. And then phase 3 is where we sort of look at additional technologies such as robo-advisors, implementing blockchain within sort of the KYC, artificial intelligence sort of kicks in. So the competitive advantage we have over the standard Sharia compliant banks in the UK, we're the first digital. We're using the latest technology to lower the costs down. So a typical example that I gave, I'm not going to name the banks, but to sign up for an account, it's a 15-page handwritten application form, followed by a 2-week process to open up an account. And you have to travel 1 hour down just to open up an account with them. No minimum account deposit, so that specific bank, you have to have a £500 deposit in the bank, which does nothing for you. And being a millennial, is that really something that you want to do? And we're focusing on what the trends are in finance. So that's digital mobile. So the community that we're trying to build, so the Ummah community, the lifestyle is sort of bringing in sort of aggregated offers on restaurants, holidays, professional services, that could be accounting, lawyers, investment opportunities within the applications, property investment, equity investing, and education. So we're looking to educate the millennials on exactly what Islamic finance is. And that's it from me.